And here we are. So it's round 4. Viper at the moment, there is a chance that he is relegated if he doesn't get some wins today. Viper's only got 5 wins. I think the more realistic story, because Viper is so good, is just will Viper make playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to be top 3 for that. Currently, you have 3 players above him with wins in the standings. We got Sitaux, one of those players with 7 wins. And yeah, Viper's here at 5. But already, curious what's going to happen here, because both these civs are very good civilizations if you wanted to try and sneakily fish. And we have seen some people do that in the past. So far, not really certain what would come here.
Well, the first thing I checked is, are these players gathering from their deep fish under the TC? Because if they weren't, I think that's a very good indication that they're going to fish boom. Because, guys, remember, you cannot make fish traps until Feudal Age, so you don't want to have your fishing ships sitting idle when you run out of these 2 deep fish. So the fact that both of them are going for the deep fish would actually indicate to me that they are not fish booming.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I mean, it's very fast to get that food. You know what it feels like to me? It feels like they're both doing the same exact build. The barracks is already up for Sitaux. But yeah, this is a build that Dragonstar actually did to Viper. And Dragonstar used well against Viper with the Aztecs. And Viper early scouting as well. And he will actually see the barracks from Sitaux. So I don't know if Viper's going to match this or what. But the fact that there's no lumber camp yet, and they're just chopping these little reeds here to get the wood, would indicate to me they will both go for militia.
Indeed. Viper's barracks now coming on in. You have the fast food income. It's easy to do that on this map. The question is, now that Viper knows that his opponent is going to be going for a ton of early pressure, is he going to build the lumber camp closer to the TC?
Yeah.
Because it would be a bit risky now, upon seeing what your opponent's doing, to just go all the way to the central area with all the extra wood and then try and build the lumber camp there.
We had players come to us on earlier versions of Mudflow and say, hey, those reeds that have 50 wood, it's inconsistent. Sometimes one player gets 6, the other player gets 5. That's the level we're at now, right? It's 50 wood per reed. Like, that should not be a big difference. But no, it's like, in their mind it is, because you can go for this if you have a consistent generation. Now, Sitaux, his scout's been forward. He hasn't seen the barracks yet, so he is running into the darkness, maybe thinking about denying a wood line. But that's what this comes down to. And I think for Sitaux, he's Japanese, so it's much easier to execute the lumber camp. For Viper, he's got to spend the full 100 wood, so we'll find out. I think they're about to see each other. And Viper actually backs up. And Sitaux, if he's looking, will see Viper. And yep, he sees Viper's doing the same thing.
Well, Viper did invest into one more militia, so Sitaux getting a couple good hits there. Sitaux saying, all right, I'm going to just match you militia for militia as he queues up another one. That does mean, however, he is short on gold for loom, so he's going to need to gather 10 gold for that, because you don't want to be caught out without loom with your militia, because that's a great way to lose the game in 5 minutes.
Yeah, but the scout isn't there for Sitaux, and so Viper, this is what you want to see from Viper, right? Like, you have to just go for the attacks and take any small advantage you can, and I think this is really worth it for Viper. He doesn't lose the scout first off, but he trades a lot of HP with the blocks, and now Sitaux probably wondering, man, I wanted to take the initiative here against Viper. Now he's got the militia at my base. What do I even do? Because if you take the fight, you lose. If you move forward, your units are too weak. Viper's just still going to try and block him here. But there's an argument Viper should not chase at this point, and he should just move forward.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because right now you can see Sitaux needs to get that 10 gold for loom, because you just don't want to be without loom at this point. But Viper just chasing these units around the map. And honestly, T90, I think a different player would just be going right for the economy of his opponent. But Viper content to say, okay, we've matched each other in early investment. I'm going to be content to just take this over into the Feudal Age and get that wood line at the front of my base saturated.
Yeah, you know, I just think Viper's going to want control here, right? And when you think about the matchup, the Japanese have the cheap lumber camps and mills, which will be helpful here. But they don't have the economic flexibility that the Malay do, with the Malay advancing so fast to the next stage. So yeah, I agree. I think there's an argument Viper could have gone into Sitau's base. Maybe he shouldn't have chased here. But this is all controlling the game for him. He now knows, all right, Sitau's not going to be able to do any damage to me. And if we are both in an even game state with no villager kills, that is simply better for the Malay.
It's better for the Malay, and probably Viper thinks it's better for him as a player. He's always been somebody who's played the late game, just sort of take any early advantages you can get and go to that next step in the game. Viper is the first to click up as the melee, so he is going to be up to Feudal Age very significantly faster. And with 4 villagers going over to gold, this honestly might even be for a Men-at-Arms upgrade.
Yeah, this is super clean for Viper. Super clean. And honestly, it's a creative opening as well. I understand that both players have gone for it now as Viper loses his scout. But that's something that has been a struggle for Viper this season, is he hasn't had any of the creative builds himself. He's just been reacting to these players who look at him as someone they have to go crazy against, and it's worked. So I like it so far from him. This isn't a build that you just do without practice either, right? Like, you have to have all the transitions down. You have to have all the timings perfect. So it looks good. And he's playing patient, and Sitaux is going to go. And this is back to what we just said. Sitaux is going to take the fight somewhere else here, Ornlu, or try to anyways. And he's making more army, but he's not showing Viper.
Well, he, I think, especially wants to do that because he's later to Feudal Age. He knows that Men-at-Arms is a very real threat from Viper. He also gets the extra infantry armor now that he is in the Feudal Age. So all the more reason to not engage your opponent right there.
Yeah.
So Sitaux going to look to go across the map, but with the way that this wood line is structured, he actually has to go all the way around to try and get to Viper. And Viper will already have that archery range down.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure from Viper is awesome. A big reason why this build is used, by the way, is because most of the houses and palisades are all at the bottom of the hill. So the infantry gets so much more value. But I just wonder, from Viper's perspective, he killed the militia. And he hasn't seen anything. And it's kind of late, right? Because the units had to walk so far, this attack is coming significantly later than you would expect. So maybe this will surprise Viper, because I wouldn't think that the opponent could afford to make that many more militia and go for Men-at-Arms.
Yeah, it's something you have to be careful about, but on this map, you have more food in the early game, which comes at the cost of you not really having the easiest access to the forge bushes. But yeah, Viper is completely caught off guard by this, and he will be taking at least 2 villager losses here. No amount of quick walling can save you, and that is exactly the sort of thing that Sitaux is looking for in turn, even if he loses 1 villager at home.
Yeah, he did trade Man-at-Arm v Man-at-Arm at home. He's getting the repairs. He still doesn't... Oh, no, excuse me. He does have an archer range, so he could, in theory, defend there. But now it's where, like, what's the multitasking going to look like, right? How are the economic transitions? Can you get your upgrades in time? Neither player is double bid-axe, which is really uncommon, but maybe it is more common on this map because of how aggressive it is. And Sitaux actually just leaves his gold, and Viper just chasing the Man-at-Arms with the archers right now.
Well, with both players making archers, you'd have to favor Viper in that he has gotten the archery range down much faster. He has started his production more cleanly and consistently. So he's going to be in a good spot to go for a counterattack. But, oh man, it's all about just trying to figure out where exactly your opponent's army is in the fog of war. And looks like Viper will find those Men-at-Arms. And that archer did not get the memo that you do not want to engage the Japanese Men-at-Arms at close range.
Yeah, it might just be one of those sets. But I'm telling you, man, the multitasking is one of the strongest... one of the biggest strengths for Sitaux. So, and it usually is for Viper as well. So even losing 1 archer is not something you would expect. Viper now tries to attack Sitaux, and Sitaux has to defend. Lots of idle time, but so far the micro is really good from Sitaux. He killed another archer there as I looked away. So this is good, and I think all the things I just said, you fully recognize for your Sitaux as well. It's like, okay, I killed 2 vills from him. I've killed a couple archers here. If I can just keep that type of game, but with lots of multitasking, maybe I'm the better player here.
Yeah, it seems like that is the plan. Sitaux is picking up the fletching upgrade. He is transitioning into skirmishers, which is something you can only do if you're a bit more settled in your food eco, which Sitaux at least has access to both of his forage bushes right now as well. And it's going to be down to Viper to kind of get things a bit more sorted. That said, he's got a lot more idle TC, but more resources collected overall thanks to the power of melee, and here he is right back at the base of Sitaux.
Yep, I like it from Viper. It's got to be immediate counterattacks. You can't just be reacting. I think there will be a whole lot of this. No one's waiting for 4 or 5 archers. It's 1 or 2. But Sitau's defense is fantastic there. He quick walls against the Man-at-Arms. He clears up the archer. And then he does still have his Man-at-Arms on the other side, which will get some value against Viper's archers. Viper just a little bit late to the patrol will get the kill anyways.
Yeah, this is so difficult for both of these players. You have to look at 2 to 3 different fronts at once, as now we have 2 more archers from Sitaux with fletching, walking right over into that food area of Viper to the southwest of his base. And with micro, this is just such a nightmare to deal with T90, and this is a rough game number 1 for both players.
Yeah, but it's amazing for us, right? Because it's so uncommon that you see this many villagers die in Platinum League, and it's just what it has to become now for both of them. I do like the base structure for Sitaux. He actually has some working walls, and he has the tower there too, so it's tougher for Viper to counter damage. At the same time, Viper still has that forward wood line, which is why his eco is so much more efficient overall. I think if you just look at the worker efficiency stats, I would fully credit that wood line for being the key. So that's what Sitaux will have to handle long term. Luckily for him, he still has the cheap lumber camps, so having to build new ones later, not a problem for him.
And Viper was able to get that all-important double bit axe upgrade. So that's going to be another important way in which Viper will be getting more of an eco lead with the melee. But here we are. It's late, but the dock is coming here near the town center of Sitaux. So it's time to get some sashimi.
Yeah, so obviously they couldn't do it with their openings because they spent all their wood on the barracks here. This is interesting. I mean, you have to add the fishing ships and then immediately add the fish trap, which is costly. But when you're Japanese, there's bonuses for it because your fishing ships work faster. And then if you're Malay, there's also bonuses for it because your fish traps have more food on them. So both players could be doing that. Viper is the one not doing it, which is a little bit surprising knowing his reputation.
And yet, Viper's sending 6 villagers to stone. That is very surprising to me. I mean, maybe he just wants to litter his base with towers to help him defend, but that will necessarily slow down everything else that you're doing. Sitaux has 4 vills on stone, so a little bit less of an investment, but those towers are going to be critical as it's going to be difficult to keep your opponent out of your base otherwise.
I think the issue for Viper here, though, is like Sitaux just keeps coming to his base, and Sitaux has a strong army right now. Viper wants to freely move forward, and it just would be so foolish to do so if you didn't have some form of defense, so I don't mind it. I think both players are going to do the same thing there. And Viper's food eco, those transition so much better here. He's got 12 farms, and Sitau's only on 5. So I feel while the fish traps give you more workers, with fishing ships on fish traps, that is, I think that Viper's food eco should be much healthier to reach Castle Age, just by my estimation.
Well, a tower will be coming forward from Sitaux, but I completely agree. I mean, it's expensive to get all those fish traps up and running. You have to pay for the dock, then the fishing ship, then the fish trap, which necessitates a lot of wood income.
Yeah.
But you don't really want a lot of wood income right now. You want a lot of food income so you can get to the next age. So that's going to slow down Sitaux a lot, although this pressure with the tower and the forward archery range units is very good.
I mean, I'm just wondering, like, you have enough stone for a tower. Sitau's scout is coming around the side. Is Viper going to sense that he needs a tower here? The archers are on the way. Viper seems to sense it. Normally when the scout's there from a player like Sitaux, there's a reason for it. But Sitaux gets here, and Sitaux can find some nice kills again on Viper. That should end up being 2 more villager kills. Maybe 3. Yeah, it is 3, and the army's going to get away. Well played from Sitaux.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all about knowing where to hit. There are so many exposed parts of Viper's base, but you need to make sure that you can try and avoid actually fighting his army as much as possible, as the much greater value is going to come from killing those villagers, and that's what Sitau's been able to do. But, as we keep saying, Viper's close to clicking up to Castle Age and is melee, so you can rush up to Castle Age, get some archer upgrades or some elephants, whatever you feel like, and then push this right back. Yeah,
Sitau's really forcing the timings with the attacks, but he's invested so much focus into the fights, and especially if Viper uses the market to balance out his res, there could be a significant difference in the Castle Age times. Sitaux gets another villager kill, though. And Sitaux also still has that tower there, which is interesting because Viper also has the ability to tower that lumber camp now, just defensively / offensively. And yeah, there he'll do it. And Viper's on the way up.
Yeah, it's the classic strategy of building a market to balance your eco for Castle Age, and then having the resources by the time the market's done anyway. This is a time-honored strategy that I partake in a lot. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to have a market, right? Like, a market's good. And in this type of game, it's always good to have a couple defensive towers, so I don't mind that at all. I am just wondering, what is Viper's army going to be when he makes it to Castle Age, right? Because, like, it's not much. This is also a very common theme at times with the melee. So you get to the next stage too fast, and then you're like, okay, I've got 7 military units. Is that enough for me here?
Well, I proposed either going crossbowmen or elephants, and Viper might do a little bit of both, as the stable is now coming on in. Melee elephants super cheap and just represent a ton of stats per resources spent, so they're really, really good in early Castle Age. Crossbow and bodkin on the way immediately, and a knight as well, because Viper is boring and doesn't like to make me happy.
Yeah, makes me sad as well, but the knight is faster, Orlu, and that's the reason for it. And mobility is kind of key. So it is more expensive, but Viper just wants one knight to support his army, and his army's already forward, so civ bonuses aside, that's the reason for it, which I know you understand, but still, I'm with you, though. I would like to see the elephant there. Knight's just simply going to move forward faster for him, and we're now at the point where Viper's got to get some real value from early Castle Age. Will it be the military? Will it be the eco? Will it be a combination of both? Because Sitaux's got... he's got 5 fish traps now, and he does have more farms, and he does have a lot of towers everywhere. And eco count, he will still be leading once he makes it to castle.
My concern is, and whenever I see a situation like this, I always check the distribution of resources collected, and Sitaux is mostly ahead in wood.
Yeah.
Almost exclusively ahead in wood, and that has very little value in most AoE games. If you're ahead by 5,000 resources, but it's 5,000 wood, it's really not as much of an advantage as you might think.
Well, but I mean, in this case, we're probably going to see some boats. We're certainly going to see some skirms. Wood is one of the most important resources on Mudflow, which is easy to forget. Look at that micro from Sitaux. He actually kills 99% of the night with his villagers and keeps his tower up. And wood for the fist traps could be really nice here. The university for Viper to get ballistics. So he's definitely going more aggressive. And he's opting for the aggression. But oftentimes, I think that getting ballistics when your opponent's on skirms doesn't give you the value you're hoping for. And siege should or could have been the #1 option for Viper here.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this is actually where I think the elephants would have just been much better than the knights, because we've seen a lot in TTL recently where players will go for 1 or 2 knights in early Castle Age, but they don't have the upgrades for them.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit different than the previous meta, where, you know, you had more cavalry units, you got bloodlines, +1 defense more often. And a knight without any upgrades is actually surprisingly bad against, like, everything. So the Knights really aren't doing a whole lot right now. Sitaux still in a good position to go forward. Notably, Viper's selling a lot of his stone, just now with the extra TC.
Look how close this game is, guys. This is unbelievable. We got 25 to 20 eco KD. That's close. Idle TC is close. Res collected is pretty much even. And the micro from Viper, just a little bit better right there. Beautiful shot on the skirms. And yeah, now with that Mangonel and the Knight, it might even be enough to just fully defend from this attack. But we're booming, Orlu. We're booming. Town centers are going down. And Viper, a nice job on the front with the crossbows and the Knight. He will kill off the Spearman as well. And both players recognizing where the gold is, too, with their town centers.
Yeah, it's such an important resource to snag on this map, as we've seen many times, actually, where players on this map will just kind of run out of gold and have no backup plan as to where to get it once that first patch runs out. So great job there from both players. And right now, it is Sitaux in the middle. He's adding in the 3rd TC. He's got the 6 fishing ships to help him out. And I'm liking this game, T90. We're getting to get some actual late game.
I'm liking it, but... Okay, he finally will go for one. I was just going to say, I'm not liking that the eco upgrades haven't been in for Sitaux, and I just realized how late he was. Look at Viper. Viper's got wheelbarrow. Viper's got bowsaw. Viper is horse collar. Viper's on the 3rd town center here, too. So those transitions have been very smooth from Viper. But I also, like... I don't know, it's just a very difficult map to play, guys, because, like, you need the wood. Wood is super valuable. But then there's no gold where the wood is. And then even the stone is all positioned in the middle, too. So I just don't think there's a given way to play this at the moment. It's full adaptation. But I think if the stone's going to be key in this matchup, right? Because if the Japanese player, the Malay player can get castles down, it's completely game-changing. Malay need a castle for the imp timing and the trebuchets. Japanese just, in general, want their like unique text in their trebuchets. So... even the towers in the woodlines, like, so nice to have. So, as I say that, Sitaux's going to lose his tower to the Mangonel for Viper.
Well, especially Japanese are going to want to have the map covered in towers anyway over the course of the game because your towers are so good.
Yeah.
Malay, you like making karambits if your opponent is invested heavily into skirmishers, but because Sitau's already going cav archers, that's going to be much less of an attractive option. So I think the castle there for Viper would mostly be about map control and trebuchets, as you say. But we're still very far away from the Imperial Age, and there's a lot of runway between here and there. So Viper's just going to add another TC in the background.
At what point do we reach the stage where docks come down in the middle? Because I think we're getting close. It could be more difficult to figure out what to do there because we have the introduction of the Hawks now. But like galleys, Hawks, demos even onto Viper's Woodline, all are valid options.
And I know I've been telling you this, T90, but harbors garrisoned with fishing ships, they're insane.
True. True.
They're real good, I'm telling you.
Oh, man, it's so cool, man. Sitaux doesn't see the town center from Viper on the wood line. He's hoping to deny the gold at the moment. He'll find that Viper already has a TC on this gold. Meanwhile, Viper's building a TC on another gold in the south. And Viper will, in the middle, pick off a villager. They're building an outpost. Ballistics will be in for Sitaux. I do feel like Viper's been primarily booming here. Like, I've been waiting for his army count to spike up a little bit more. But he's about to have his 5th skirmisher somewhere and just complete the elite skirm upgrade. But this could get a little dangerous if Sitaux starts to have mobile armies around the map.
It's a very tricky situation for both players because Sitaux, he has the initiative right now. He's got a big, scary army, but he wants to do something with it because Viper is spread out all over the place. His eco upgrades are so good in the long run. And this is classic Viper, right? Always play to the long game.
Yeah.
Play the map control game, take things late, and win there. That said, it's still tough because Sitaux has that big, scary army. Guard Tower is going to be an excellent way to keep yourself alive, though.
Yeah, Guard Tower is huge. And what Viper is doing with his army is pretty nice. I like the Knights where he has them. I'd like the Skirmishers going for raids. It can maybe find some value, but as I say, Sitaux seems to spot him there. Sitaux even with the scowl on Viper's Monk right there. How are you able to pay attention to that when doing everything else at the moment? Running away from Viper's base. Take some losses, but still, that's just a reminder just how locked in Sitaux is. And Orlo, I don't know about you, even for the super fast players, which we are not, doing what Sitaux is trying to do and adding fish traps while also 3 or 4 TC booming and micring 3 or 4 armies is like insane to even consider.
It really is, especially because Sitau's not that fast of a player. He's got 74 APM in the game right now, guys, which is pretty average for a pro player. Viper is cruising at 111, and yet Sitau's multitasking is just as good, which he has like some of the most efficient APM usage I've seen from any player, and it's always really cool to see.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's the efficiency, right? Every player's got their little, like, the things that they overdo with their clicks. People will spam formations. That APM is fun to look at, but it can sometimes be inefficient. You would not... I'm surprised that the APM's different between these two. It feels like they're kind of on par, but Viper, yeah, we know him for his speed. I am just still thinking about resource control right now. He did just clear up a lot of the army with his skirms and siege, and the defensive towers is a very nice play, but he's not actively mining any stone. And Sitaux is, because he has the greater control of the middle, and Sitau's also dropping a dock, which could mean Navy. So, I feel like Viper's trending towards Imp, because his eco setup and he wants to play lots of skirms, but I'm not really sure if Viper could do a lot without stone in the Imperial Age.
Well, he could make a big blob of archery range units, which does have value, but there's just a lot of stuff to push through on this map. Sitaux has most of the map control, and if there's one thing the blob of range units is not very good against, it's buildings and pushing quickly. Well, so Viper's gonna need to find a way to actually make that happen, as there's a 1-for-1 Mangonel trade, Sitaux continuing to expand, and like you, I'm concerned about that lack of castle. Yeah, Viper might actually be solving that problem, though, as we touch on it. He drops a tower on the stone, and it does have a town center that he can push immediately for Sitaux. When Sitaux placed that town center, I was looking at it like that could easily be a target if you lose the position. There's the demo for Sitaux. Maybe he'll go in and snipe the Scorpions, but the Viper's food count's looking very good, and as the demo heals the Scorpions, I still think Viper's kind of okay with that. The resources are rising. Another tower coming up from Viper. And more siege will come out of the siege workshop to pressure the Sitau's town center there. And yet, Sitaux clicks up to the Imperial Age. Now, Viper's going to click up pretty soon, and he'll still be faster thanks to melee. But when facing melee, as basically any other civ, it's less about getting ahead of them in the timings as much as staying competitive with them.
Yeah.
And Sitaux is likely going to be able to do at least that, but it's still not easy for him because this is now starting to look like a really strong push here from Viper in the middle.
Yeah, and I think if there's a lot of flexibility that Viper can have off this too, right? Obviously, the ranged units are going to benefit from the upgrades, but the docks as well could still be a valid option. I'd like to see a couple docks from Viper, maybe just play in towards War Galley. With the amount of villagers that are exposed there in the middle, that or random demos could still be a good option. And as I'm saying the words, Viper will dock the south. He's also chasing down the CA. And classic melee things too. Clicks up to the next stage later. Will still beat Sitaux to the Imperial Age.
He sure will, and it's all skirmishers for now. Which is usually fine. Skirmishers are very rarely a bad thing to make in early Imperial Age. And yet it doesn't provide the greatest offensive threat. I mean, mangonels are nice, but they're still just Castle Age units. It's not something you can really get out of the Imperial Age, and that's where that lack of castle really starts to become concerning, as Sitau's actually going to be adding some stables over there to the west. It is scattered out by Viper's skirmishers, though.
Yeah, I think if that's the plan for Sitaux, I think he's going to have a really rough time. I think early Castle Age making knights can work, but Japanese not getting the final armor upgrade could be really concerning. So I don't think full stable is a really good choice. Viper, what a recovery on the stone. He gets 3 relics behind this, and Sitaux is going to drop a castle there, and Viper's going to drop a castle in his town center.
All right. I mean, at least they're making it fun for us to watch, because this is getting wild. Medium warships is coming in here for Viper. Tower, oh no, T90, it's the tower defense. You and I have seen a lot of AoE2 in our lifetimes. What is the success rate of this tower?
Well, I mean, when the opponent's building it with 15 villagers, it's not very high, but obviously you feel like you've maybe got to take the risk. If you can complete your own castle, and then your opponent's is denied, it'd be huge, but yeah, I know you hate to see players try and use a tower against a castle. It's very rare, but it's an in-moment decision that you have to make. The issue for Sitaux, though, is he's going to lose the tower, he's going to lose the vills, he's going to lose all of his army. But his castle does go up, and that puts Viper under some pressure too, which isn't going to be too easy.
It really isn't, because trebuchets are going to pop out in 2 areas. And yes, Sitaux doesn't want to lose this western TC. It does secure him access to gold and protect the western portion of his town. But this is the front of Viper's base. If this area gets trebbed and he loses infrastructure, it is just going to open up so much to getting raided and to getting pressured throughout the game. And that is not going to be a great recipe for success.
Think about the golds, though. If you just look at the outer ring, look at the positioning of the yellow on the map. With Viper's tower in the north now, that is boxing out another gold that he can take. The castle that he just placed also gives him access to another gold. There's not a lot of gold in this map, so it's really valuable to get that. And Viper's got the 3 relics. So I think I definitely prefer Viper's position. I'm starting to hear the ringing of bells because he's spamming the galleys as well, which seems like a decent call. It's messy, but if Viper can just hold the current position, I think Sitaux will eventually run dry of resources.
Yeah, and this is just what Viper has always done, right? Play the map control. Play towards late game. He's done such a good job of securing relics, getting early eco upgrades, and taking that map control while he still can. And he got a few Karambits running around. They can be a nice raiding unit. But right now, it is going to come down to the Navy. And both of these civilizations are pretty similar in that they don't have a military bonus for their Navy. It's an economic bonus.
Yeah.
So neither civ is really going to have the big edge there, and it's really going to come down to how well you can dance around the new water tech tree.
Yeah, pretty clearly, though, I think Viper's thinking less on water and more on land because he's building up bombard cannons on the right side to push this castle down, which is fine. But, I mean, water's still going to be really valuable here. And heavy warships is on the way right now for Sitaux, which is not an upgrade Viper's been able to click yet. Also, the unique tech for the towers is finally in for Sitaux, so some aspects of this improving. But he is officially on the gold clock. The only gold I'm seeing him mine is the gold in the north, and that is about 1,300 gold. So Sitaux needs to preserve every Treb and preserve every ship and get max value right now.
Yeah, Sitaux did a great job of sort of like muscling his eco through just by having so many villagers and eco units working, because the efficiency has been better for Viper basically the entire game. He's going to have some cav archers coming in here on the land. You don't want to be sitting underneath towers. Now, Malay do get heated shot. Japanese don't, although Yasuma is slightly better than heated shot in terms of like pound for pound damage to ships. But that's going to be one Viper's really going to want to pick up.
Yeah, I think Sitau's probably telling himself, man, Viper's got to be running out of wood here, right? Because he's had so much control. But that really hasn't been the case until maybe this moment. Viper will get some villagers roasted here. He still does have some wood line controlled near where his bomber cannons are now taking down the tower. Again, no gold income. When you want to play cav archers, kind of an issue for Sitaux. He needs to reclaim the map. This castle from Viper on the left side and the tower in the north have proved so critical here.
Yeah, you're just really boxing in Sitaux at this point. Like, yeah, he's got a navy, but without the siege to back it up, he can't really take any more map control with it, and it's even Viper who's going to start getting a cannon galleon and siege engineers.
Viper's actually making a cannon galleon from his starting area. He's built a dock there, so he can defend with the cannon galleon, which is amazing.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, very creative. Viper now with a gate to block the cannons, but the villager kind of stood over the foundation. You could tell Sitaux just so desperate. He feels like if he loses this castle, it's game over. But Viper's just waiting. He's not overextending. And he knows he's got the better position here.
And this is just such classic Viper, such good long-term planning. The castle is absolutely what is keeping Sitaux in this game right now, and the samurai are there. They have the new charge gimmicky thing, and that is not really what you want as Viper, but the samurai are also going to be going down. How many bombards can they snipe? Probably 3 out of 4.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been better for Viper, but I still think the rest is looking okay. He's got the skirms around the map to defend from the cav archers. He still has plenty more gold to spend. And Sitaux is 2 on golds. Actually, those 2 on gold are dead now. They're in the grave because Viper has a bombard cannon and it's killing the gold miners. So Sitau's just kind of out of res unless something changes. He can't push these towers because Viper's got heated shot. The towers already have 21 kills. And Viper's getting keep. So good luck, Sitaux, ever pushing Viper's towers, never getting these golds back.
Yeah, I think Viper could just be checkmating his opponent here very shortly. That castle will go down eventually. You can't afford another huge samurai wave as you have no gold income. You have more keeps, or soon-to-be keeps, that are going to be littered all over the map. That's going to be denying Sitau's most of his wood income. And this has been a very compelling game, number 1, I gotta say.
Yeah, it has been. I'm wondering what the confidence level is going to be like for Sitaux. Because, like, live win count will still be really good for him. He'll still have 7 wins, but Viper will be right behind him with 6. And then you know what happened earlier today with Mihai getting the victories, and you know where Vivi's at, too. It's like, sometimes the first game can just set the tone for a series. And that's been Viper's issue, actually, is he has not been able to have those wins to start the sets. And it's looked kind of rough. But now Sitau's like, really? Like, this is the Viper that I get today? Like, come on, man. Like, how am I supposed to beat this guy? Could easily start to be the thoughts that enter his brain.
And it's tough, right? Because Viper is such a veteran. You know, he's not going to have any of these real, like, mentality issues. He believes in himself enough to know that he will try and find a way to win. Sitaux, I mean, he's been around for a while, but he doesn't have as many of those deep tournament runs where you just develop that confidence that even though something is going horribly wrong, you know, having that faith that you can turn it around.
Well, and also, they played each other in tournaments 4 times. I remember the most recent one, and Sitaux, it was very similar. He gave Viper a very big fight. It was back and forth, but Viper would just hold on and win. So, for me, it's huge that Viper wins the first game, not only for him and his chances at playoffs here, but also just for, you know, the whole series and the way the group's shaping up. And well played from Viper. I think, remember, all the way back in Dark Age, we'd had that discussion on Viper chasing those 3 militia with his own 3 militia, and it just felt like the thing that the confident player would do, because he's like, I'm going to keep as much in my control as possible. I'm not going to let you surprise me, and as long as I know what you're sending, I will beat you. And that's kind of how Viper played this game.
It is, and as we were saying, it's not a style that's especially popular these days, but it's Viper. He marches to the beat of his own drum, and he has the skills to back it up, and he collected over double the gold of his opponent this game.
Yep.
And that is going to be an excellent way to win a long game of AoE too.
Think about how they had to prioritize the game, right? You have to prioritize the just overall wood and like farm space first. So it's heavy wood focus and food focus. Then you got to shift into the gold control, which Viper did a fantastic job of. And then I know he was a little late to stone, but he sorted that out, that timing as well, right? He ended up with a lot of towers. He ended up getting the castles where he needed to. And then even like switching into the docks, everything just felt like kind of at the perfect time. For Sitaux, the issue for me this game was that center TC. Like that center TC, if you're going to place it, you need to push from there. He was never able to have his own towers in that position. And I think that snowballed a bit of this game here. That, of course, and also maybe needed a bit more map control on the golds. But I don't know, man. Hopefully Sitaux can snag a win here because Viper's looking good. All right, well, here we are, High Tide. So a map that has been played a lot, as you said. A map that is maybe figured out. I think what's cool about it, though, is you could watch 15 High Tides games, and very rarely are you going to see the same exact thing. You might see similar openings. You might have the mix of water, the mix of land, but there's just so much action, and there's so much variability in where things can go right or wrong for you here. So Italians for Sitaux, no surprise to me, or Loop. They have their water flexibility and good archers. But what do we think of Aztecs from Viper?
That's a fun one. It's a very aggressive land civ, which can work. But the threshold of acceptable damage done is so much higher if your opponent has that fishing ship potential, and especially Italians of any civ with a very good fish boom of their own. As 3 of the 4 civs we've seen so far are the top fish booming civs, Malay, Japanese, and Italians. And yeah, we'll have to see what Viper can do here, because he's probably not going to take a very aquatic-centric approach this game.
You know what I think could be kind of good as Viper walks past that Rhino. I don't think he'll ever take it, but he's making Sitaux think there's a chance he could. I think it was Incas on this map. I forget who it was. But basically, you play double dock on water, and then you just use your barracks, and you play man-at-arm into like double barracks eagles. And the idea is it's almost like the Champy Rush right now, where you have a really fast unit, which is really annoying for your opponent, and they have to chase you all the time. And then as they're doing that, you just kind of disrupt on water. So I forget who it was. It was definitely, if it wasn't Viper, I think it was his teammate. I could have sworn it was, I think this map was in quite a few tournaments.
That doesn't narrow things down. Viper's teammates with like half the top players right now.
True. Well, oh, sorry. I should say a former, like an older team for Viper. That is true. There's now what, like 8 or 9 teammates on Onimaru, but
yeah.
Anyways, I thought it was going to be the water approach. I was wrong. Viper also going for the early barracks. What is this meta shift, dude? Like, so many players going pre-lumber camp, pre-mill barracks these days.
I mean, this is crazy, and it's something we see consistently. I don't think you can deny the dock completely. The scout's not really in position to do that. Viper did scout his opponent very early, but chose not to lane. He was kind of hanging around with the Eagle Scout there, and I think that really does indicate that he wants to use the Eagle as a combat unit, right? To block villagers, make sure that they can't escape. But, I mean, you see Aztecs on this map, you think something aggressive is happening, and Sitaux is playing very safe.
Here's the thing. This meta's not new right now. It's pretty well established. It happened to Sitaux as well as to Viper. I think the key for me is you got to deny the dock with the Eagle if you're going to go for this strategy. Viper has not had the Eagle up there. Look at how Dragonstar, who's the one who started this all, by the way, this season at least, and that's I think why both these players are doing it. Previous series, Ornlu, he had his scout patrolling there the entire time, and then went for the drush. And then went for the man-at-arms, excuse me. So I'm a little surprised. I think Viper is expecting Sitaux to just be completely caught off guard. But, I mean, Sitaux's got the walls up already. No problem.
Yeah, this is doing nothing. And this is not a small investment from Viper for Militia. And Yeah, I think you have to be patrolling up there in the north with your starting scout cavalry, or Eagle Scout, in this case, to make this work, because right now Sitaux is going to be getting an absolutely gigantic eco lead over Viper, who is, well, attacking a lumber camp with 2 militia.
Well, hold on, though. Sitaux is going to try and pull the Viper against Viper and trap those.
Oh, no.
So, here's the thing. Attacking the lumber camp is actually good. I'm wondering if Viper can get the 4th militia attacking, though.
If you patrol stack, you should be able to.
Yeah. So, I've had some conversations on this, because sometimes people will take down the houses, right? And the houses is good, but it mainly only works on mudflow because you have the elevation there. So if you're on flat grounds, it's easier for Sitaux to just repair, and the price you pay for repairing is based on the cost of the building. So attacking the lumber camp, while it feels kind of helpless, it's actually the best case scenario here, I'd say, versus just attacking the houses.
Well, it's the best case scenario in the situation, but it's still a bad situation. It doesn't turn it into a good situation, which I think is the distinction that has to be made there, because Viper's on his way up to Feudal Age, which is nifty and all. Sitaux is currently 4 villagers ahead and has absolutely no pressure whatsoever on the fishing eco, and Viper just doesn't have that.
Well, yeah, but what you do have to do, and you really have no choice if you're Sitaux, you have to respect this, because this can be upgraded, and you have to go land investment now. And as Sitaux tries to push in the Zebra, and the Zebra's trolling him, I mean, Viper should just go water now. And there he goes.
Yep.
But then again, it's like 3 rounds ago, I think this build from Viper I would get a lot more excited about. We do have to remember you can garrison in the docks now if you get surprised. So Sitaux has that defense capability if Viper chooses to go for Hulks or Fires there.
Well, I don't think you go Fires. I think you always go Hulks, because the Hulks beat the Fires. And Viper's going very far forward with this dock, which is kind of interesting. He's not sort of taking the shortest route from A to B.
Yeah.
But is going all the way downtown there, and it's going to kind of delay things a bit.
Yeah, it almost feels like he wants to go dock and then sneak the villain to the back if you place that dock. Like that, surely that villager's not going to be just like standing around there. Maybe the villager just keeps moving. Could also be that he just didn't scout the area of the shoreline near his base. So we'll find out. Viper in Feudal Age at a very good time. Does Viper know that he is getting attacked by Man-at-Arms? I think he should, but Sitaux did try and hide the barracks in the back of his base, but Viper spotted it.
Well, as of yet, Viper has no walls on his wood line, and it's just a little bit tricky once you sort of saturate a wood line with 9-10 villagers to actually get enough walls down safely. That said, there is a house coming, Men-at-Arm upgrade on the way for both players, but just like the last game, guys, we have double mid-axe in immediately for Viper, and Sitaux skipping that upgrade completely.
Yeah, Sitaux is just at the limit with his res. Despite having the fishing ships, there's so much pressure and multitasking right now, and Sitaux barely gets the time there. Oh, man, that's 4 men-at-arms. A couple of them are stacked. They could be through very quickly.
On the other side, T90, uh-oh. Great reaction from Viper, though. He's going to lose a bill. He can't stop that, but it could have been a lot worse.
Do you have to question...
Or better.
Do you
it
have
could have been both.
Do you have to question it, though? I think Viper still loses this villager. Viper just misclicks a lumber camp in the middle of the map right now as he's trying to save himself. But, like, Viper did not expect Man-at-Arms, right? He did not expect Man-at-Arms. Viper, that is a lumber camp. You are building a lumber camp.
T90, this is an AOC AI lumber camp right there. This is a 1999 version of AOV2 AI right there.
And the Man-at-Arms are in.
Drop-off site in the middle of nowhere.
The Man-at-Arms are in. The Man-at-Arms are in, and they're blocking as well, and that should be another villager down. Viper's wood situation's awful. He's basically just wasted 70 wood. Meanwhile, he is on water, but Sitaux noticed it. So, in theory, Sitaux could just wait to fish a little bit later in the game. I mean, welcome to high tides, guys, because you also had Viper almost get through into Sitaux's base. You do still have the dock and the fishing from Viper in the south, so his food eco's at least there. But it just, this is why this map can be so good, because it's just pure chaos every time.
And Sitaux also loses a villager there to the north. So, I mean, it's not good for Viper.
Yeah.
But he's at least keeping up in the villagers killed so far. And he's got the fishing area to the south, which is as of yet unknown by Sitaux. He's got his own archers that will come in as soon as he is done being housed. and he's kind of, sort of stabilizing-ish.
Yeah, ish. It could just swing either way at any point in time. It's really hard to know. I really like the defensive towers in these scenarios, so that's good for Sitaux. You just don't want to spend too much time to stop and think. You just got to send it, and you have to have that consistency to the multitasking here, which so far I would argue slightly better for Sitaux, but it could also just be the fact that he had the opening. Pressure on Viper's woodline. Viper could maybe tower here himself, but instead he's actually just going to tower the gold Ornlu, which is the back of your base, but kind of feels necessary to have the gold as the Aztecs.
Well, the gold is essential as the Aztecs, and on top of that, you already have your army and archers here at the front by your woodline, so at the very least, you have sort of your production in one area and then the tower in the other, so you are overall relatively safe. But I mean, these hulks really got to do something, because those fishing ships, they are adding up fast in terms of value.
Oh my god, dude, I just love moments like this in AoE too. I swear, if Sitaux saw that house, he would check the south, but he didn't see the house. He just missed it, and he's completely forgotten about the south, because it's just rare that you go there. The man-at-arms for Viper are back at Sitaux's base. Sitaux loses a villager. But now Sitaux is pushing forward to Viper's base, where Viper desperately needs to complete the mill, and then his woodline is overchopped. Oh man, Archer goes down for Sitaux. Woodline going down for Viper. What is happening here?
Villager to the north also going to go down for Sitaux, which was there to try and repair. So that's not going to be something that Sitaux can do. Fletching coming in for Viper as his villagers are just trying to flee to the safety of the town center. Men-at-arms are getting a little bit low. Fletching is coming in for Viper. You already have that in for Sitaux, and you get the free archer armor as well as the Italians, which is nice. So, oh man, T90, this game really is something.
Yeah, it is. You got to dig deep here. You got to dig deep, and you have to work through it. This is one of the rare games at a high level where I really like 2 vills on stone for more defensive towers. Typically, like, you're resistant to doing that because it's risky and it's worse for your eco. Well, guess what? Both economies are crap, and you need towers to defend here. So, speaking of, Sitaux found the house, and Sitaux is making a move.
One fishing ship. Oh, why is Viper going away from the dock? Go toward the dock with the vills, but I guess he's just trying to outrun them. But, oh man, that is going to be 3 dead villagers right there, as they are not on a boat and therefore are not welcomed by the harbor master.
True.
Like, no boat, no entry.
True. There's a sign. You can't see it. It's on the other side of the dock, but it does say that, so they should have known better. I mean, Viper knows the army's got to be coming to his base right now. These are some ambitious walls, but he's going forward. I don't know about that one for Viper, though. I think this army should be through very quickly. He loses the Vill, and now he's going forward, where Sitaux has a wide open gold and berries. Oh, man.
Oh, jeez. I mean, Sitaux has had 8 economic kills so far this game. He still has his 4 fishing ships, and it is hard to, out-multitask Viper, but Sitaux is kind of sort of doing that right now. His own eco is very inefficient, don't get me wrong, but so long as Viper's eco is also inefficient, it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, and Sitaux, he just bought the stone to get another tower, which protects the other woodline, which I think is very nice. Unfortunately, he still doesn't have his gold. But as we're seeing that, he pushes Viper off of another woodline. A crazy game. Viper's trying to win the water again. Galleys from Sitaux pretty much locked down the water at this point. I was surprised he went galleys in the first place, to be honest. But
yeah, I mean, usually it's all about the hulks. I mean, in theory, the galleys counter the hulks, but that doesn't really work normally when it comes to these low ship numbers, very close rush distance situations that we see all the time in maps like High Tides. And yet Sitaux says, no, I can micro around my galleys, I don't care. And you know what? Who are we to doubt him?
I mean, I'm looking at Sitaux's eco. I said go to stone. I don't know about 11 vills. That feels a little excessive. He's been completely off of gold this whole time. Viper has a lot on gold. If Viper can use the market, which he'll build now, and buy the food, he might beat Sitaux to Castle Age, which can be a game changer. It feels very similar to the previous game, just back and forth, back and forth. Sitaux does seem to be the slightly better player in the multitasking, but I think Viper's macro and his balance to get to the next stage is still always going to be a difference maker here.
And I just checked it again, T90. Same dynamic as last game. Sitaux is way ahead in resources, but it's all wood and a little bit of stone. But he's behind in food and gold, and those are the resources that get you to the next stage. And
but
That's not going to be good for him.
In this situation, though, he has one water completely in the north. In the previous game, he had to spend his wood on the fishing ships and then the fish traps. Here, as Viper's got villagers on the zebra, they're all going to die. You could just add fish onto the fish that's waiting for you there. So I think it is easier to balance out your resources. And your Italians now, so it's cheaper for you to get up to the next stage.
And yet, Viper is the one who's on his way there already, and Sitaux is not close. He is going to try and reclaim the gold with this tower, but Viper is here with a much bigger army and the high ground, and Sitau's going to need to run for the hills himself.
Oh, man. Just imagine with a little bit of preemptive thinking, if Sitaux could have had the tower 2 minutes ago on this gold, I think he would be so far ahead in this game. Viper's on the way up, though. Sitaux will drop a tower, which is not ideal, but it just needs the gold. Oh, Viper locked in there with the micro. When you see that tower as well, you've got to be feeling very confident. You know how desperate your opponent is, but he does still need to respect it and back away.
I mean, right now, Sitau's got the Settlers of Catan eco, where you have a lot of wood and a lot of stone, and they don't help each other out whatsoever, and you're still stuck and don't have anything good going for you.
I could tell you're really excited to say that.
I just thought of it. There has to be some nerds out there in chat who appreciate that. I don't care, man.
I could just, as I said to Jordan the other day, I could hear the smile in your voice. When you brought that up. Well,
see, chat gets it. That's all that matters.
Sitaux finally reclaims his gold. Sitau's got 11 fishing ships in the north. Viper... It's funny, the parallels, right? It's the same thing I wanted to say in the previous game. Like, military count isn't actually that high, despite making it to Castle Age faster, right? You only have 8 archers and 5 skirmishers. But he will chase down the archers in the back. He did have another random villager in the south there. I don't know where that's going. And we'll see what Viper can do here with 2-minute advantage to Castle Age.
I mean, it's a lot. This is so bizarre that his villager count is so terrible.
Yeah.
And yet, his resources are overall just fine. He has the opportunity to, try and make something happen, but his army isn't very well upgraded. Sitau's far away from Castle Age. I mean, this is just such a bizarre game state.
Dude, I mean, Viper knows he needs to pressure, and that's what that villager's doing. That just passing moment from Sitaux, him missing her, could be the difference between winning and losing this game, because it's all about the time, right? If Viper had to spend another minute getting another villager forward, another minute waiting for the mangonel, maybe he can't realistically pressure this gold. It's crazy, too, that the outpost is up and Sitau's paranoid, but he doesn't actually see the siege workshop.
Well, Town Watch saves lives, and that upgrade is not in for Sitaux. So that's why you get the upgrade, kids.
But, I mean, you got to remember, if you're Sitaux, you still have other goals around your other towers in the north. So the second you get pushed here, you can just relocate. It's been awfully quiet. He's like, where is Viper's army at? He doesn't fully seem to understand. And I wouldn't understand either. But he has just towered everything, which when you have the eco lead is completely fine. Viper's army still not even upgraded, Ornlu, and still no second TC. He's going to add that now, but Sitaux could do the same.
It is totally possible. I like that Sitaux is at least ending with 200 stone in the bank, so we can add 2 TCs like normal, no problem.
Yeah.
Nice little touch there from Sitaux in terms of eco balance, which in general hasn't been a strength for him in this game, but still good stuff there. Viper adding his own second TC. There's a few archers there in the back, and with all of the chaos in this game, it seems like we're just going to kind of march onward with both players in a reasonable position, whatever the score may say.
I swear, I'm almost tilted for Sitaux, because him building that town center looks very scary right now.
It really does.
I mean, good work. The archers are in there. He's going to counterattack with the skirms, whatever. But Viper needs some maximum damage, and that town center is going to be the perfect target if he finally makes a siege. Saying that, it took a while for him to actually make the siege. And he's making the siege from home. He's got 2 siege workshops.
Well, it's kind of a wasted siege workshop forward there. I mean, maybe in 50 minutes he'll be, with 10 siege rams in it, but for the time being, not really doing a whole lot. And Sitau's still able to cruise along here with his fishing eco. He's got at least a decently upgraded blob of skirmishers and some knights, and what is Viper really doing? Yeah,
well, I think you had to push, and the push was stalled out by the excellent defense from Sitaux. You can't push now. It's not an option. There's towers everywhere. the siege on the front would be vulnerable because a knight would just snipe it. So now you have to get the relics, cook up 2 TCs, wait for your eco to improve, and then hope your opponent overextends. Here's an example. Like, if that knight gets converted and then he lands a big shot, could be huge, but Sitaux backs away.
Or neither of those things happen, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's the other option.
Well, you need... that if we are controlling Sitau's army there, we know that goes very differently.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Half the skirmishers are dead, the knight gets converted, and then Viper saves the monk inside the tower, and you get no value, so...
And somehow the knight dies to the other knights that are not converted.
Yep.
Every single time.
Yep. Then you get desperate, and you dive underneath the TC, and then your knights die, and then...
You're getting too real with me now, 290.
and then in your case, you ban the map before the next queue or something.
Oh, absolutely. Then I'm like, why on earth do I ever play hybrid maps?
Yeah. I mean, so I was having a conversation. I almost don't want to say who. I'm having a conversation with a TTL player recently, right? And the wins are super valuable going into the final rounds. And I was just telling them, and I was just like, listen. You got to know things are going to go off the rails. Things are going to go wrong. And what you can't do against the very best players is you can't get the lead and then immediately play 1 TC and win. It's just not a thing. So don't go too aggressive is kind of the message. Just add those town centers. And that is exactly what Sitaux has been able to do. The fact that he is on 3 TCs right now and still just basically microing the army he already has is such nice patience. Less experienced players will try an all-in here, and then Viper could hold. But it's still...
Especially Aztecs, very strong defenses with the good monks and the mangonels at this stage in the game. It's a tough civ to break. And what I love what Sitaux has done is that he's taken... Oh, hold on. The monks are coming in from a very weird angle. What the heck is this angle?
Yeah, I mean, you're never expecting the army from Viper to come from that direction. Again, that could have gone so differently there. He might end up getting trapped, but Sitau's micro is some of the best in the world. Let's see how he chooses to play this. Because he will probably like his chances killing those monks with the skirms and then using the knights on the siege. I mean...
It's all about the unit control here. We're right here in the corner. The monks are going to start their conversions. It's going to force the skirmishers to try and take the engagement.
Yeah, and Viper expected the split there, and he got the attack round. In the end, Sitau's always going to lose that army anyways, and he will kill the monks. But well played from Viper. Viper at least clears that up. But there's another push coming.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wow, we finally cleaned it up, and there's like 2 mangonels and a bunch of units coming at you. Redemption is on its way for Viper, but I think the important thing for Sitaux is that he got the monks. Viper's only on 1 monastery right now, and any true Aztec player should be on at least 4 monasteries at any given time. So you gotta work on those rookie numbers, Viper, because you're gonna need a lot here to defend effectively. Yeah, and I think Lightcav as well is going to be an excellent step here. With a couple Lightcav roaming around the map, Viper can't even rely on more monks all that nicely. We are kind of trending into a world where it might be the play for Viper to build a castle and make jags, which would be really cool, but that's not a situation that usually means that you are in the best of positions at this stage of the game. Yeah, I think at this point, the fishing eco is simply too powerful for Sitaux. And what I was saying earlier, I was going to say before the big fight happened, is that I love how Sitaux has balanced actually having an army to apply pressure with, which a lot of players aren't able to do. I mean, Viper wasn't able to do it. He had army in Feudal Age, couldn't upgrade it.
Yep.
Sitaux was able to balance getting the army so he could get pressure on the map and then use that to expand his eco as well. He was able to do all of those things at once.
Can we talk about the multitasking to realize that Viper's sneaking a dock up in the north as well? Like, he had to have the perfect patrols. But that's crazy, man. The Lightcav are now diving in. The Knights are now running around the backside. He's also scouting in the south as well to see if Viper is sneaking down there as well. Sitaux is playing like a beast right now. And still just no army for Viper. But it's like, what do you make? You can't make monks. You can't rely on monks long term. You can't drop a castle in the front of your base because you're getting siege push. None of this is easy.
Well, Viper wants Imperial Age. Drop a castle and click up to Imp.
All right. He does have the monks hiding inside the town centers. So the monks aren't dying at least. He's repairing his siege. He's losing Vils in the back, though. Sitaux is going to go full send here. He's getting +2 armor now. I think other players would show a bit more patience here if you're Sitaux and stop producing and just go up to Imp themselves. But I mean, how can you, when you're ahead of Viper and you have this much map control, how can you say no to just applying that much more pressure?
Yeah, and I think that if there's anything that when it comes to like facing these tippy top players, I get annoyed as when it's like, okay, just go kill them.
Yeah.
Like they don't have anything. Just go attack them. Go kill them. And that is what Sitaux is doing right now. He's not going to be that far away from Imperial Age. It is discounted for Italians, only 850 food, 680 gold, so he's pretty darn close. Viper is getting the castle though, and it really shouldn't take that many Jaguar warriors to be able to defend the light cab, which is going to open up your main unit here, which is going to be the monks.
Yeah, I also think seeing that castle is pretty critical now. You see Viper builds a castle with low army count. You know that means that Viper is probably going to go imp. I think denying this castle is a little ambitious, but Viper did click Imperial Age in that town center, and I don't think Viper's thinking about it. So there's a chance that Viper loses imp, though I don't know. He still always can have a random monk to convert a mangonel, and I think Sitaux is just going to play patiently right now.
Well, he knows he's on his way to imp, and the thing is, Italians with a good eco should be able to deal with Aztecs pretty effectively. Your hand cannons are amazing with this civ. You have fully upgraded Hussars to try and snipe monks. You got your bombard cannons available to you. You have options here. So I think Sitaux is going to be okay playing patient at this point.
Yeah, and I think you can even lose this castle, and it's kind of okay, right? Like, you've still got good map control. I would like to see some long-term thinking for the south, stones and golds, and also that island in the north where you have that gold available. Viper needs... He's going to go imp, but he needs an army with imp. And I don't even know what the plan is here. I guess it's Trebs and figure it out. But Classic makes it to imp and then maybe wants to call the GG here from Viper. He's got 2 army right now. And housed at the moment.
Oh, this is just so unfortunate for him. And it's like, where did this game really get out of hand? I would say early Castle Age, when it was all the decisions there, Viper not actually succeeding in his push.
Yeah.
And that's what, to your credit, what you were saying at the start of the series is like, it's that early Castle Age transition where Viper could potentially struggle versus Sitaux, and that is exactly how this game has unfolded.
I think also early Feudal. The Man-at-Arms getting value, the lumber can't misclick, right? That's all because of the pressure.
Yeah, that was rough.
And I think so much of it is the information. And so I'm a little surprised that Viper didn't pre-wall there. I think it was just well played from Sitaux to completely catch him off guard with the Man-at-Arms. Remember, he had to defend from a very awkward opening that Viper sent his way. That, to me, was also like kind of that early key. Viper had a lot of good moments after that. But yeah, Sitaux's multitasking, it worked wonders here, and the score is 1-1. Excellent game from Sitaux.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. It was well played on both sides, which has been the case all series, which is what we want to see from 2 players who are eyeing playoffs. And sparks are going to be flying here in the last game because now both players can really, I think, start to be looking forward.
Yeah, I mean, reminder that Sitaux has not lost a set so far in TTL, okay? I'm going to verify this before we get into the next game, but I think that's the case. So in the event that people are tied, okay, the first tiebreak is set wins. So if Sitaux were to win this 2-1, like very likely he is going to win every single tiebreak that he might potentially run into, except for I think up against Mihai. So chances are at the moment, it's still crazy that Sitaux could still technically not make playoffs, but the chances say 50% for Sitaux to go first. He wins this game, it bumps up to 65%. That would depend. Like, you got Viper Mihai last round. That will be a banger just like this one. And then Sitaux Vivi, which I would have Sitaux as the favorite. So the other thing here, too, there is still that slight hope that Dragonstar can pass Viper and survive. That would go away if Viper wins the next game. If Viper wins the next game, I think it would be very difficult for Dragonstar to envision a world where he survives. So he needs Sitaux to win this. And then Dragonstar is going to need Mihai to beat Viper next week.
Yeah, that feels not super realistic, but...
But, like, Viper can't win the tiebreaks over Vivi. Period.
Yeah.
So Viper... Yeah, Viper needs this next game to go playoffs. Big time.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah. I'm just kind of wondering what he's cooking up here right now. Because he's gone for Wei, which Civ-wise, very strong Civ. I like the Civ. But this is Wei, #1 pick from Viper. And he's playing it on Stranded. Could this be, hear me out, Fast Castle Tiger Calf against archers in the middle.
Don't you just die on water?
There's a lot of downsides to it, but I'm trying to think, why else would you pick the way? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see.
Honestly, I feel like Wei, they're like a super strong civ, but I feel like people just kind of get lost in the good eco, where it's like, okay, the civ has good eco, so it's like, let's just play them everywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like I would rather see a civ that's a bit more specialized to this type of aggressive hybrid map. Like, he had something else that was good in there. Yeah, Dravidians. Would have loved Dravidians more than Wei here.
Yeah, we've seen Dravidians a ton. I mean, if Viper loses, we'll probably question the Wei. I gotta lean towards the strength of the Wei and assume that Viper's got a really big plan cooked up. I mean, for every eco upgrade, you get an additional Vil, which is awesome. I agree, though, that like this isn't a map where you typically see a lot of those eco upgrades. We don't see an early mill for Horse Collar, for example. So there's an eco upgrade you're not getting. Fishing lines is a tech that maybe you get. Yeah, I don't know. Do you get the Vil if you get the fishing lines tech from the dock?
You do.
Okay, I mean, so there's maybe Viper will be up like 2 Vils, but the Mayans start with another Vil, so that's nice. And my feeling on this map, not sure of yours, I find the more we're seeing it, the more players are really prioritizing the land on this versus the water. The water is valuable, but remember that game, the only game that Hera lost against Siscon, he went full water. He had like 40 to 50 fishing ships, and he never prioritized the middle land, and then eventually caught up with them. So it depends,
well,
but that's my feeling.
I do remember that Siscon Hera game, but I think the difference is that water is of essential importance in the early game.
Yeah.
Once you can start adding in extra TCs and the game gets longer, you know, the wood becomes a lot sparser except in the middle of the map, then I think land becomes just that much more valuable. But in early game, I still don't think there's a route to victory that doesn't involve going aggressive on water.
Yeah, I think when you're talking water or land here, you're choosing one to put a higher percentage of focus on, and whichever one you're not, like whichever is your backup plan. So I guess like the water in this case, you just can't lose it quickly, right? And it's the same for the player who's winning the water and getting pressured on land. Yeah, you can take some damage, but you just have to hold on for as long as possible. So another map where defensive towers could potentially be a good option. But yeah, Viper is playing Stranded. I'm again trying to think. Maybe a chatter could look at Liquipedia. I don't think Viper's played Stranded at all this season.
It's not really a typical Viper home map pick. I mean, when it comes to the average AoE pro player, they tend to like the more aggressive hybrid maps.
Yeah.
Viper generally likes the more passive maps, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it is a bit interesting that Viper would pick this versus Sitaux, who's so good on these sorts of maps. I mean, Sitaux himself picked High Tides, which is probably the most similar map to Stranded in this entire map pool.
Well, I mean, all of Viper's team are together at the moment, right? So there's a boot camp. They're playing games and prepping for events and having a good time, I'm sure. So maybe, I think Viper's been there a couple days now. So maybe the last couple days, there's been some practice sessions. You would hope, in theory, especially with the games being so important for Viper. And maybe that's why we have Wei and Stranded here. Viper's going to show us something special here. But
yeah, you would think so. They're in Sao Paulo, right?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure.
Because I only learned about this boot camp like yesterday.
Oh well, we learned
how in the know I am.
Well, we learned about the boot camp because of all the scheduling issues. People traveling from all across the world gave both leagues.
I'm sure that was a nice headache.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward, but we ended up working it out, and of course, and here we are. I wonder, is Sitaux gonna go for both of these? There's no loom, so it's probably a bit risky here. Ooh, man, that was a well-placed gate. And a palisade around the corner, and yep, Sitau's pretty damn good. He brings it in. But the fact that he went for the far rhino, and there's already so much food, tells me that he then wants to save the elephant, which is close, and that he might want to try a fast castle here. I could be very wrong.
It is curious, and some people asked why Mayans on this map. It's because your early food sources are so limited, so that having the longer-lasting fish, the longer-lasting hunt, and water buffalo is just so helpful in streamlining that early economy. And on top of that, it's just an aggressive map in general, and Mayans are quite good on there.
Yeah.
So that's why we see Mayans here.
Yeah, I also think cheap archers and Sitaux he's been so heavy micro today. I think it's the one map that we'll see where you actually have a lot of food eco underneath your TC as you're microing, right? Like game 1 and game 2, the food just ran dry so quick early feudal, and it was super difficult. Here, you will have 8 to 12 fishing ships bringing you food eco and the water buffaloes, so you don't need to farm transition, which has been the one thing that Viper's maybe been better with today. So, yeah, I think the opinion's clear for everyone listening. I love the fast castle crossbow. I know it's risky, but for Sitaux against Viper, yeah, dude, just send it. Just go crossbows and siege and put Viper under pressure. Give him the fish. Just see if Viper can defend.
Well, and because this map has so little stone on it, it would be very difficult to get a defensive castle, to get to Tiger Cavalry, which is what you really want against Mayans, but that's not super realistic for this map. I mean, unless you go for fast castle Tiger Cavalry, which itself seems pretty bad. And Viper would have to defend with generic mangonels and bad monks, most likely, and that's not the easiest thing in the world.
So here's something I just remembered from the draft. So Viper banned Huns, which to me was like, what? Why is he banning Huns? But there is some precedent. We've seen people play Huns and go fast castle cav archers on this map. And so maybe Viper's picked the way to go fast castle into Jean Bays with good economy. And he thinks that like CA units, like the Jean Bay, are very good here.
That's true. I mean, they were nerfed, but they're still pretty darn strong.
Yeah.
But what on Doubt's green earth is this T90? We have huge walls going in all the way to the side of the map, but like for both players?
Yeah. Both players walling in case the other person goes aggressive with Feudal Age army, and the other player is not going aggressive with Feudal Age army. And then they're both bringing in so much food. And I mean, so much. We still have, for Sitaux, 5 water buffalo, plus half an elephant left, plus all the fishing ships. Viper's up to 14 fishing ships. My God.
That is a lot of fish, and the onus is going to be on Sitaux to do something, but hey, you know, Sitaux is going to listen to you, man. He's got the blacksmith, he's got the archery range coming, and he's going to be going FC crossbowman.
I still think there's a chance Viper wants Tiger Cap. That's a lot of food eco. Like, why would you go for that many fishing ships and this big of a boom with food unless you're going for food units? So there's a stone in the back. There's a couple stones you could get to. You also could just use a market and you could buy a castle. But actually, on that note, Viper, no mill. So if he wants the market, he would not be able to build it. And he already has the barracks. So I think we'll find out pretty soon what buildings he wants to go for. And will
maybe it's his own archery range blacksmith and just going for the Xianbeis.
Stable.
Or we're both wrong.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you do still have He Guang, which is like a lesser version than a knight, essentially. And he's getting fishing lines now, and he's getting
HP, which is pretty helpful against archers.
Okay. I mean, Sitau's got the worst economy. Sitaux will have the timing here. As Sitaux will bring forward the 2 archers. But yes, big boomy game. Viper will probably just add a scout to see what Sitau's doing, which makes sense. But no villagers on stone for Viper yet. Could still be archer ranges for the Jean Bay. The stable doesn't mean he's committed here.
Yeah, I mean, he could really transition in any way he wants. He's actually adding another scout cavalry. He's actually going to immediately pick up some water buffalo, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I think right here, guys, is an excellent example of the difference between Viper and Hera. Like, you see a lot of comparisons to them for obvious reasons, but you look at how Hera played this map versus Siscon and how Viper's playing this, it is just completely different.
Yeah, I mean...
No way Hera would just sit back and not make anything until Castle Age.
I don't know. I think there's a meta shift as well, though. I really do. Because, like, I watched a lot of silver and gold games, and everybody in silver and gold practiced more than the plat guys, except for, like, the exception of maybe Dragonstar, because it's, like, one of the biggest events for them ever. And everyone was going fast castle. And then, so we enter Platinum, everyone's going feudal, feudal, feudal. And if you look at the progression of the builds, it's going higher fishing ship count, more fast castle than well, we saw in the early weeks. So I don't know.
But that's with the fishing ship changes, right? With
That too.
the recent patch, right? Where you can garrison the fishing ships. It makes it a lot better to play this more defensive style than in previous worlds.
Yep.
So, I mean, it makes sense that, you'd have the gold and silver players do a lot more of the theory crafting and the practicing than the platinum guys do.
Well, there's fishing ships to be protected, and what I expected from Sitaux was double-range crossbowmen in the middle. He's actually going for war galleys with the Hawks to pressure Viper's fishing ships. And I thought Viper was in the right here to just make a couple Hawks, just to have it be minimal water investment. But Sitaux, he's going to walk on by, past the one dock that's already garrisoned with 5 fishing ships. And Viper needs wood right now. And this is why I'm super pro, land pressure here. Because you need freaking wood on this map for everything, man. It's extremely difficult.
It's a very tough balance that Sitaux is striking. He's got some navy. He did invest into both crossbowmen and bodkin, but he's got 5 archers.
Yeah.
And that is not the scariest thing in the world. The Hagwon Cav here already at 4 Pierce Armor, 92 HP. And yet, Sitau's doing a beautiful job of just dancing around the hill and trying to make good use of his high ground bonus.
Did Viper add fish traps? No, it's just the fishing ships were there. I mean...
No, they're gathering from the shorefish, I think.
Yeah, gathering from the shorefish. The garrison effect is playing out here. Monk there for Viper would love any type of conversion. He's falling back to heal, and he does convert one of the crossbows, so that's a 5th of the army there. Honestly, very even engagement, because for Viper, he's still mostly fine. He's actually just waiting to heal up a little bit, and the crossbow count just not big enough there for Sitaux. He tried to do a lot at once there. You almost have to choose one thing.
Yeah, it feels like he was, spreading himself a little too thin there with going for some navy, some land pressure. That said, what I like about this from Viper is it's one of those games where because he's got the boomier civ, he had the more fishing ship-centric opening, is that a stalemate or just, any lack of major engagement benefits the guy with the better eco. And that is going to be Viper, unless he just decides to lose all of his fishing ships for free. So, don't do that. There you go.
Yeah, well... I mean, you probably... What we're seeing is just how difficult it is to strike that balance on this map of land and water, land and water. I think the thing that I always keep reminding myself is also what are the players spending at the moment? Right now, Viper feels like he's got food for days. Maybe not days, because it's the 9 fishing ships now instead of 15. But eventually the water buffaloes are gone. Eventually you need farms. For crossbows and monks... They've dominated on this map because when the food runs dry, you could still produce that army.
Yeah, and you're on double ranges there as Mayans. That is very easy to afford. And you've got the University for Ballistics, which is going to be in here in just a moment as well. You can afford the upgrade. So, yeah, definitely should get that one. Viper adds the second TC, though. It will secure him some more resources, but you are totally right. You need that food income, and it's why, in general, we see more ranged unit play these days, is because it's tough to get a food eco going in AoE 2, especially with all of the aggression that can happen. And right now, those Hagwog, they're very well upgraded, but how many of them can you realistically make?
Yep, agree with you there. And where can you raid as well? That's the other thing. Everything's pretty clumped up next to the town center for Sitaux. Sitaux has ballistics on the way. I still would like to see a monastery. I'm very surprised to see he doesn't have monks. I don't know if he will be aware that Viper has the siege here, and he's very distracted right now. Viper, oh man, it was the perfect attack round, but Sitaux noticed. He does need to notice at home, though, as Viper goes for the raids. He had the walls. The town center's there. Viper will get a couple kills here, lose his units. Sitaux still has to back away from the front. And still, of course, the water's there. And Sitaux has killed most of Viper's fishing ships, which was part of Viper's game plan here. Oh my god, and Sitaux going in.
Oh, he should be able to dodge that one.
Wow.
Oh, I mean, there's a beautiful attack round.
Wow.
But yeah, a player of Sitau's caliber is not going to take a huge hit there.
Wow, what a swing. Viper's whole army on the front is done very little. It's going to die because Sitaux traps him. And Sitaux ran at that? That's insane that he had the confidence to run at that mangonel. And now look at Viper's eco. He's got 2 town centers, but everything's idle. He's got no food eco for Cav anymore. He needs this next mangonel to basically recover the game.
He needs to do a lot of work, but Sitaux respects that. He is backing up, and that's going to buy Viper some important space right here. And even the Hagwong are going to be able to swoop in, and some of those crossbowmen are a little low HP. And right there, nice dancing and a little bit of a glancing hit. Moral of the story, Viper is surviving.
Yeah, but that town center is not a town center that is going to help with the survival, and he doesn't get spotted. That is such a risky TC for Viper, who, by the way, still doesn't have the mill because you just relied on all the fish and the water buffaloes, and now he's just going to be seeding the farms. So he's got no ability to make more cav right now, Ornlu.
Yeah, this is really painful for him. Oh, another Mangonel popping out. I wanted to ask you what you thought of the Pikeman play, because we really don't see that too often, but there's just too many fights happening right there, and Sitaux is going to be forced back once again.
Yeah, I mean, Sitau's got to fix his eco as well, right? We still don't see farms from him. He does have the fishing ships, though. I don't know. I like monks. I think if you have 2 monks, Viper can never get close, but the issue with monks, of course, with Mayans is you can't get redemption. So at least with Pikeman, you could potentially push the siege. So I think that's the logic there from Sitaux. Overall, I think it can go either way. It's just all about if Viper can stabilize his eco right now. He does have a lot of gold, and he was mining some stones. So there's still a very good strong chance he could get to Tiger Cab at some stage.
And as we all know throughout the course of this tournament, that is a unit that is both fun and interactive.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, man. The dry sarcasm is the perfect tone for that unit. I agree. I don't think the balance is very strong. Viper's market gets denied. Sitaux, again, just runs in. Like, that's the type of energy he's brought to the table today. He just dives. But in the middle of the map, he needs to be careful. And this is the issue with crossbowmen, right? It's like your units are slow. And you look away for 1 second, and then the cav could just jump on you.
Yeah, you really have to respect Sitau's confidence in his own unit control. And it's paying off for him, generally speaking, in this series as he's harassing Viper's eco once again. But just going for it, saying, you know what, I'm going to take this fight. I'm not going to play footsie and try and, poke around the edges of your army. No, we're just going to go for it and, trust that your opponent's going to be a little bit out of position and that you have your own micro that you need to win the fights, and that's what he's doing.
An increasing issue for Sitaux, though, is the fact that he doesn't have the hill right now, and all of your town centers end up being below the hill. This is the position that Hera ended up, even with a significant lead, losing in that game he lost against Sizcon. Viper is always been known for his controlling of the hills. He's known for his castles on the hills. He'd love to get there. We're still a long way from that, and Viper has to be careful. This is where the pikeman could actually be useful. You have a unit that can go in for the siege, but the micro from Viper, he kills the monks, almost anyways. No, he doesn't do enough there. The monk can still convert. And now Viper will probably back away. Viper also losing villagers underneath his town center, Ornlu. He lost like 4 or 5 there. Had to delete the archer ranges. And the conversion still doesn't happen for Sitaux.
Jenny, Sitau's killed 32 villagers and counting this game. This is crazy.
Yeah,
he is just doing damage, and Viper is just really running out of army.
Everyone's happy about it except his villagers at home right now, because they're like, yo, protect us for once. But if he clears Viper's army, it's over, and Sitaux wins the series 2-1.
And the crossbowman's still finding good value. I mean, Sitaux has not taken any disastrous Mangonel hits, which is so hard to do, guys. Okay,
Yeah, he's about to take 2 of them. He's about to take 2 of them. Well done, Ornlu. But I still think he can always produce more. That's been the core issue for Viper, is he has not been able to continually produce his army. Sitaux can still make more pikemen, still make more crossbowmen, still make more monks. He can claim the hill. And now I'm questioning the way. Now I'm like, what aspect of the way was a #1 pick here? Was it the Haiguang, which I personally don't like here over Knights because you have less HP? Maybe there's an argument that it's even, but was it the early eco upgrades, which is really hard to get because it's a hybrid map, and so you're not going to have the farms and stuff up as quickly as possible? It's not sure what the logic was, but I mean, how many people can be this aggressive against Viper so consistently over 3 really intense games? Just not many.
Not many, and I mean, unfortunately for Viper, he's in the wrong group for that, because Sitaux and Mihai and Vivi all very good at doing that sort of thing. Dragonstar as well.
Well, that's what's so wild to me, though, is like, when the group draw happened, everyone said, oh, easy win for Viper. Like, easy group for Viper. Everyone said this group was the easy group. And then, like, I don't think people were expecting Mihai and Sitaux to play this well. Certainly weren't expecting Dragonstar to be as prepared as he was. Vivi has stepped it up this season, too. I mean, look at this from Sitaux. He completely traps Viper. The whole army can't escape. Viper might be forced to actually delete there or else. Wow. Sick.
I mean, Viper is doing a great job trying to control these hills, but he needs to prove that he's not over the hill right now. And, it's not looking good for him.
I mean... I don't know. I don't. Ornlu, you're cracking me up, dude. I think for Viper, the good news is there's still a lot to play for in the final series, even if he were to lose this. And playoffs could still happen, but he needs a big engagement. And we're building up towards the castle for somebody here. It's just a matter of who will it be and where will the castle be. I have seen Sitaux play some pretty sus castles before. I would say just place a defensive castle near your siege workshop, control the middle of the map. But if he's up against Viper and he feels like he has to consistently like send it, you know, could throw a castle away against Viper's siege.
Yeah, I mean, that's what makes this map so tough, though, is the general lack of stone. And it's like neither player really feels that close to a castle, but Sitau's control of the middle should make that, in theory, easier.
Yeah.
As Viper's trying to switch over into the Xianbei Raiders, which, I mean, it's easier to produce, right? But the issue is he spent so many resources teching in the other direction at this point. And oh my god, he's just now getting Loom.
He's just now getting Loom. He's gone 35 to 8 in Eco KD against Viper, and he's just now getting Loom. And here he comes with the Vills. This is exactly what we're talking about. He's gonna like buy and sell. He's try and buy a castle for this hill. Viper has lots of siege. Yeah, he's buying and selling. Viper sees the villagers. He knows that this will be a castle. Sitaux will place the castle where that house is, I'm pretty sure. He'll dive with the converted units. Oh, God. This feels so awkward for Sitaux right now. Okay, there's the castle foundation. It's going to go up, I think. Viper can't stop this easily. Big attack rounds. Big attack rounds.
The also think you're going to die in the process. Oh, the Haegwang's converted back, which helps out a lot. He's going to try and repair probably, but... Oh, man. That castle is happening. It is going to be such a strong position from which to attack. You can add in some plumed archers if you really want to. I think that's, like, fine either way.
Yeah.
But now Viper, it's like he needs to also get to Imp, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Viper might want to go aggressive with his own castle now. He needs to defend, though. He still doesn't have an army for these crossbowmen, and Viper's dropping the castle. If Sitaux keeps moving this direction, Sitaux could maybe deny this. Viper needs more villagers there. It's at 45%. Sitaux will see it. Sitaux will make the move for it. It's at 70% for Viper. Let's see the micro here.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, this is brutal in Sitaux. He is going right for the villagers. He needs to make sure he actually clicks the villagers and not the units nearby, which is actually really tricky. And oh my goodness, T90. Oh no.
It'll go up.
Okay, castle goes up.
It'll go up. The good thing for Viper here is you kill a lot of monks. Oh man, you kill a lot of monks. So, and those monks are going to be valuable now for Sitaux because he has to question whether or not he can go archers if Viper is going Tiger Cav. But, you know, still... Sitau's economy is superior. He still has the villager lead. I feel like his castle is the more valuable castle because it boxes Viper from ever moving to the middle. And look at Sitau's vision on all these golds, too. Outposts and plumed archers running around the south, town center. He's super locked into where Viper can ever move out for resources.
This is actually just such crazy good vision from Sitaux, and really demonstrate how good of a job he's doing at the multitasking and making sure that he can see everywhere all at once, because his army's slower than Viper's. You have the foot soldiers versus the mounted units, so the unit positioning is just that much more important, and Sitau's done such a brilliant job of that this game.
Yeah, but hold on, Viper's moving. Viper knows he's behind, right? He needs something crazy. He will see the TC. If he gets a castle there, not only does it take down the town center, but that's 2 castles to make Tiger Cav. That's not bad. I don't think there's an army there from Sitaux to clear it either. And Tiger Cav, you and I both agree, are insanely OP against archers. So...
In Castle Age. I don't think they're OP in post-imp, but...
Okay. I mean, that's all that Sitaux is making. And of course, there's the nerves of the moment, which I think is becoming very clear for Sitaux. The crossbows are accompanied by a monk in the back of Viper's base. I'm still wondering how much food and wood eco Viper's going to have. But... Yeah, Sitaux is not on the way to Imp, which is what you would normally want to do here to treb those castles down.
It's like there isn't much of a glimmer of hope for Viper in this game, but it's there. It really is. And if there's any player we can expect to thread the needle and just figure out a way to win, it would be Viper. He's making a very powerful and mobile unit.
Yep.
And Sitaux runs the risk of, like, feeding, so to say, the Tiger Cav, right? Because a lot of these archers, you know, they're low HP units, and that could just supercharge up the cavalry units, and they can become really tough to stop.
Those monks, Ornlu, those monks. If Sitaux had, like, 6 monks still sitting around his base, moving forward with this army, I guess it would be more like 10 now because he's still making more. That would have been such a nice change. But honestly, look at how good he's microing this. He still has that monk. He gets another Tiger Cap. He kills the Jean Bays. The army will remain here. The Viper takes the monk finally. Eventually, he'll kill this. But yeah, clock is still ticking. This gives time for Sitaux to balance his res. He's still got Tiger Cav running around. It's very claustrophobic in his base. But there are the Imperial Age resources for Sitaux. Finally.
Yeah, and that's just all those extra villagers he did not lose. I mean, 52 villager kills for Sitaux. I mean, that's basically the villager difference, is the delta in villagers killed this game. So that is just all Sitaux trying to make this aggression happen. We have the Tiger Cavs and the Xianbei Raiders trying to clean up this army, and they might be able to, but what I love from Sitaux is he's just recognizing the route to victory isn't archers at this point, it's just halbs and trebs.
Yep,
and I
exactly.
think that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, and I think he should do the same thing he did before. Buy a castle. Just buy another one. Like, it's hard to get to the stones.
Economy?
Yeah, dude. I think it's still worth it. I don't know what the prices would be right now to buy another castle, because he would need 600 more stone, but considering the unit you're making doesn't cost gold, you're just making pikes now. I'd say double castle, maybe build it on near where your siege workshop is, so you have full coverage of the middle. But Viper's eco is just, he cannot compete. The Vil count's there, but he lost so many valuable units.
It's one of those situations where the economy looks okay, but relative to the map position that you have, which is not that great, and the food eco, which is just the super critical one. He's got 57 Vils on gold, which is way too many at this point in the game for the army that you want to be making. And I mean, it is true that Wei are a very good Castle Age all-in, so we've seen it tons of times, but I don't think Sitau's going to make the mistake of having an Arb-centric army. I mean, he's still just massing pikemen. Plumed archers in the back are fine, but just having those, spear units in the front.
You could tell Sitau's still very nervous, can't you? Right? Like, I love watching Sitaux. Another player who reminds me of him is Nikov. You are reminded that, holy crap, this is an intense video game and an intense moment with how ridiculous it is. But that chaos brings success, and Viper has not been able to deal with the chaos here today at all. And yeah, big raid with the plumed archers from Sitaux. He now can make trebs. His range units can get better upgrades. He still has the resources to go for the halb upgrade as well, which is kind of but likely the nail in the coffin here for Viper's units. Vipers will try skirms or loot. Skirms is fine, but you need imp as well, and maybe some traction trebs, which Viper seems so far from right now.
I don't know. Skirms feel like a unit that only work if you're going imp. If you're going what I thought the only route to victory in this game would be all in Castle Age, it's like Xianbei Raiders, Tiger Cav Rams, just full on try and bulldoze down your opponent's base. The skirms feel like you're not actually going to win the game with this unit.
That castle's so important. This hill is impossible for Viper to get close to. There's golds everywhere. Viper is getting some big raids, by the way. Tiger Cav getting kills in the north. That's not bad. He's also ramming and Tiger Caving the right side. But still, we haven't seen him have to take on the trebs. We haven't seen him have to take on the pikes. Of course, we haven't seen a halb upgrade. Eventually, Sitaux should just have enough pikes to clear this. I'm saying this as he is losing the outside. So it's not the best situation for Sitaux. Losing the town center.
He didn't get halved, though, is the thing.
Yeah.
You know, he was prioritizing more on those range unit upgrades, which is the exact thing I didn't want him to do. But, I mean, I feel like that just sort of opens up the potential for you to snowball with your very powerful cavalry units here.
Yeah, I still think Viper's I think he's too far behind. I don't think he's killed enough villagers. I think that Sitaux can freely farm towards the middle of the map, which is weird, but castle's your safe zone. Viper's castles will fall. Viper doesn't have the town centers anymore. And Sitaux doesn't even need help. He can make enough pikes to probably clear up the side raids and holds. And once Viper doesn't have the castles, he can't make Tiger Cav. Then he's only on skirms. And then Mayans have different units they can make. Viper even misclicks the Rhino. That's... Do you get HP for that kill? No.
No. It's only military units.
I mean, just aside for Viper of just how all over the place he is at the moment, trying to keep up with Sitaux. And Sitaux, just unbelievable season. He will be 4-0 in sets with this result. And will be top of the group. Tied for top of the group, but still top of the group.
Yeah, and I'm, of course, forgetting who his last round opponent is.
Vivi, I think.
Is Vivi.
Yeah.
Ooh, that could be a really interesting one, because Vivi is the type of player I think that can actually do quite well versus Sitaux, because he can be just as active in the early game and he can make things a bit messy.
Yep, no, agreed. Yep, very, very chaotic players. You also have a bit of a higher ping game as well, which I think like the really fast players like Sitaux could struggle maybe with a bit more lag. I mean, Viper he probably would have resigned had he not found the value that he did. Unfortunately, the value came a little late, but he has actually been wrecking. But he's lost another castle, and he's losing another town center soon, and he will lose his relics soon, and he's still forever Castle Age. I'm curious to see the odds after this, Ornlu, because this puts some big, big pressure on Viper to not only win that final series, but win convincingly, I think, to make the playoffs.
And if you're struggling versus Sitaux, I don't think you're going to be doing significantly better versus Mihai.
Agreed, because
I mean,
Mihai's
I would
looked
put
amazing.
Sitaux and Mihai as like pretty similar both playstyle and levels right now.
Also, this means if Viper loses this 2-1, this means Dragonstar can still survive. And he will play Dark, who is the weakest player in the group. So if he were to get 3 wins there, and let's say Mihai beats Viper 2-1, we'll have to look at it here in a second, but we will go into the final round with it up in the air, and if Viper is going playoffs, or if he even stays alive in Platinum. Pretty crazy.
There is a lot of variability here. The skirms are buying time. Viper is trying to recover the lost relics, but the issue right now is his Tiger Cav production is just way too poor relative to how quickly he's losing them. He's going to be running out of wood income pretty darn soon, as he's just like scrounging around at the edges of the map. And the Trebs are eventually going to get the value they need, I think.
Yeah, you could tell Viper knows how important this is, right? He's just going to continue to fight, as you should. There can be some weird comebacks on this map. That is a lot of value from 2 Tiger Cav right there. I think for Sitaux, it got a little too crazy the last couple minutes from his perspective, but he did all the hard work. He did all the hard work early, running at those mangonels and micring an early castle and just constantly killing villagers from Viper in the early stages was so impressive.
Yeah, eventually Sitaux is going to get the upgrades on his units that he needs. They're slowly but steadily coming in. He has 4 trebuchets still on the field. Even getting repaired there is nice to see. And, I mean, Viper's trying, right? You got to give him credit for trying, but I just don't really see the route back into this game for him.
Also, because I know it's big conversation with Viper losing, right? And with how the season has gone. I think Viper's played really good today. I think this is the best we've seen him this season. Maybe. I think he played really sharp. I just think he's been punished by a player who can match his style very well at the moment. And this is the same level we've seen from Sitaux every series. That's the difference. I think Viper slight changes earlier on in the group stage. Maybe things aren't looking quite as rough for his standings, but take nothing away from Sitaux. People always say Viper may be underperforming because of what Viper has accomplished in the past. Maybe there's something to that. I don't know, but Sitau's just a beast.
Well, I think it's the maps as well, and it really sort of begs the question, why Stranded against Sitaux?
Yeah.
The game that ended up being more passive and late game oriented, Viper won, and he won it convincingly. And the other 2 games were much more chaotic and aggressive hybrid maps, and Sitaux had the better of him, and there's the GG well played.
There were so many armies in Viper's base today, right? Like, Viper's going to go to sleep tonight, and he's going to have nightmares of random Sitaux units in his eco. It was just crazy. And even in the game that Sitaux lost, what was Sitaux doing? Taking risks and getting military to Viper's base, no matter how poor his eco was going to look behind it. That was impressive. Yeah, the number one pick being Wei and losing on this map does bring some question marks for me. I think Dravidians being on the draft make a lot more sense here with the fishing bonuses, the skirmishers, the cheap siege. Like, if you think about how Viper ended up playing this, it ended up being on range units in siege, which would have suited the Dravidians. But Sitaux, no questions. No questions on the draft, no questions on how he addresses the maps. He's just super sharp and came to play today. Definitely threw a lot of army in that one, but his economy was always going to be better in the end with the position. It's actually surprising to look at the res collected. Viper was actually doing a really nice job. So that and the KD, Viper was actually ahead in, but he just never had the position due to not having the middle of the map.
Didn't have the tech.
Yep. Well, let's see what the numbers say. Let's keep in mind that the numbers do not factor in the strength of the player, right? It is just solely what is possible. But after that result, the stats here tell me for Viper, playoffs is possible. So he's got 11% chance to squeak into the third place position. Obviously, he will need as many wins as possible. I think that he might need the 3-0 Mihai would be my guess.
He needs to 3-0 Mihai,
and then,
or he needs Vivi to drop all the games to...
I think it's... Yeah, he needs to beat Vivi, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is doable. Like, if Sitau's playing this well, Sitaux could beat Vivi 2-1 or 3-0, and then Viper could beat, Mihai 2-1 or something and win and get into third. So I think that's maybe a realistic path for Viper. For Sitaux... Sorry, go ahead.
If Sitaux wins 2-1 versus Vivi and Viper wins 2-1 versus Mihai, Vivi wins on tiebreaker. So he needs to either sweep or have Vivi swept.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so yeah, Viper would literally just squeak into the playoffs, it seems, if he could do it. For Sitaux, the beautiful thing is, even though he's a 9 wins against Mihai, if there's ever a tie there, he will win the tiebreak over Mihai. So, and Mihai's also playing against Viper, so we'll see. Honestly, Sitaux, Vivi, I could see kind of going either way. Viper, Mihai could go either way. It's going to be a really tight finish. But Dragonstar, he needs Viper to get swept, and then he needs to sweep, I believe, Dark. For him to survive, he needs to win 3-0 over Dark, which other people have done. And then he needs Mihai to do him some favors and beat Viper. So, still some chances for Dragonstar.